Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching Wandavision, Season 1, Episode 4, We Interrupt This Programme, and I certainly hope we're going to interrupt the programme with some answers, at least like the first, some more seeds of answers. I'm fully okay with the mystery unravelling over the course of the 9 episodes. I do not need to know everything right now, but I want more answers. I am excited to keep watching this show. I have loved it so far. Some people have commented suggesting that it was Monicaaaa Rambeau, I think that's her name, from Captain Marvel grown up, was Geraldine, and in a way that's kind of annoying me a little bit just because that is a spoiler. I hadn't put that together. I'm imagining if that is the case then it's going to come out. Obviously we could go into it and we could find out her name really is Geraldine and that's not the case, but no matter what, I'm just so excited. That ending was so intriguing with seeing seeing a little bit more of outside the world they're in, and I just want to keep going with that. So a reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction up on my Patreon, and let's go. It is her! I would have figured it out then. Lieutenant Trouble would have told me. Oh, of course, she reformed after the dusting. That was what was happening. I love seeing this. Oh. God, was her mum in hospital 5 years ago?
The cancer came back.
Oh God, it's been 5 years. Oh, she had to live without her daughter all that time.
Maria died 3 years ago.
That's horrible. She had to live.
Which was 2 years after you.
That's horrible. I'm sorry. Okay, my favourite thing now is officially that according to the MCU, S.H.I.E.L.D. is gone now. S.H.I.E.L.D. died in Captain America's Winter Soldier and did not stick around. And our beloved S.H.I.E.L.D. team has been doing their best. And there's been this ginormous sword organisation completely functioning. Has that been a recent thing? Have they, in the MCU, are they going to say that S.W.O.R.D. appeared now? Like, in response to S.H.I.E.L.D. collapsing or post-Endgame or whatever? Or are they going to say S.W.O.R.D. has been there the whole time? Don't ignore Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Robotics, nanotech, AI, essential weapons, like it says on the door.
Oh.
It also says observation and response on that door.
Space is now full of unexpected threats.
Always was.
Talk to S.H.I.E.L.D.
Your mom built this place from the ground up. You grew up here.
So they just ditched S.H.I.E.L.D.
Name the replacement.
I'm good.
There's no easy way to say this.
It's probably normal to have like
You're grounded.
a simple mission when you come back for something like this.
Your mother's. She implemented guidelines and the event vanished personnel.
Oh, she never gave up hope.
Look, I know she believed you'd come back.
Yeah.
You'd be doing me a big favor with this FBI thing.
Even though...
More time.
No.
Sorry. Even though she never got to see it, she believed. Fine.
What's the story here, Agent Wu?
I've got a witness set up down the road.
Still mad that everything is connected but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, none of them have seen him either.
No.
Who is missing?
None of them have ever heard of him.
Ooh.
Something seemed hinky to me.
So what has Wanda been up to here? Because that sounds like Wanda somehow, but I don't know why she'd be doing this.
No such place.
Oh, the helicopter, although it was red, but the helicopter. The drone that she saw, yes.
Energy field.
Uh-huh. Is this been done to or by Wanda? I'm so intrigued. Here, yep.
Captain Rambo.
So it wasn't a planned thing for her to go in, she just got sucked in, and that's why I thought the first time Wanda introduced herself, it was like, she was like, what the hell is my name? Oh, Geraldine. Oh, we interrupt the program. Are we not going to see any of Wandavision in this episode because we've interrupted the program? Hello.
What kind of data are you getting?
I'm afraid that's highly classified.
You can't see anything?
Ha ha ha. Oh, is she going to have to like watch it? Because we did see someone watching.
I need a TV.
You good to go? Yes, sir. These swords will take you.
Beekeeper man! I guess that's how they interpreted what they saw into the thing, was like, that outfit could be a beekeeper outfit. I love this!
No, sir. Softball season's over, sir.
Oh. Look, he's just a concerned person. He has valid concerns. It's actually like the TV show. That's really what they're experiencing, is the fake laugh tracks and everything.
Happening in real time is recorded, fabricated.
Yeah.
I don't know.
don't know.
What do you know?
So you're saying the universe...
That guy's
created
really
six
enjoying
moons and
this.
2 Avengers?
Yeah,
It's a working theory.
I love this so much.
We're recording.
Yep. I love this! I love this! Are these Westview residents? Yeah, please be alive, but I doubt it somehow. I don't know.
Jones.
Why?
Hey man, we're working with the same scarcity of intel.
I love this. I'm gonna keep saying that.
Listen, I
Still bitter,
have an
but
idea.
shield. But I love this.
Pop quiz wanted.
Oof.
Housewife, get a blood stain out of
Wait.
Ah, so what they see skipped that part, even though Wanda experienced it and heard him. Oh. And then it cut to the advert. But did his suit protect him? And now he's a beekeeper with bees. That's hilarious. Is that going to save him if she's not when they get snapped back with her? Wanda was the one who said no.
1950s, 1960s, and now the 70s.
Huh? What is happening?
Time periods. It can't be purely for my enjoyment, can it?
I believe Wanda and Vision are...
It's like watching a reaction video.
Who are you?
And she's more Wanda-like when she does this bit.
Wow, this is different.
Uh-huh. And it cut away. Yeah, it's Wanda somehow, right? Or not, I don't know. Is she just happy here and doesn't want to be reminded of the outside? Or is she the one doing it? Uh-huh. Oh, we're going to see what happened? Is it Wanda? I guess it seems like it definitely is Wanda doing this. Yep.
And an outsider.
But is it still being done to her somehow?
You're trespassing here.
Or, like, is this a safe place she built for herself? Or is it just a place she's feeling safe? Uh-huh. In some ways it saved her. Is she just happy here and it is being done to her? Because that could be a thing. After all trauma she's experienced. She could still be that she just feels safe here, but it does seem as though she is fully in control. Does she remember that she's Monicaaaa?
Oh, she left, honey. She had to rush home.
Put back on her sitcom voice. Oh,
What is it? What's wrong?
no. Reminding her of the truth.
Don't worry, darling. I have everything under control.
That makes it seem as though it is entirely Wanda, as suspected. Fascination. I'm so intrigued by this. Uh-huh.
It's all Wanda.
Yep. Here, oh, Vision. Is he seeing through this? Oof. I want to watch more! I don't want to keep waiting! I absolutely love this episode. I think they have, so far for me, they have like spaced out this series perfectly because we had 3 episodes of just getting little hints and snippets and clues and being able to theorize and just enjoying the crazy ride we were on. And then at the end of the last episode we were left with like a Wanda seems to be in control, but like da-da, and then now we know everything that's happening in the real world, which is so important. I also loved getting that shot of the immediate aftermath of the blip, because as much as I loved the part, I mean I loved all of Spider-Man Far From Home, but in Far From Home we saw we learnt a bit more about it, the fact that everyone just randomly appeared, and how like they were still in the school, and kids that were younger than them and now older than them, and we got to see like the months later aftermath of what happened, but seeing the immediate aftermath, because it would have been a panic like when it went wrong, and in so many ways better because people were back and they were alive and they would have been happy reunions, but there are also people who moved on and married other people, and 5 years is a long time. It's a time where you can go through a healing process and move on from something. Finding out that Monica's mother died thinking that she died believing she would come back, but not having her daughter there, it hurts me, and I'm not thinking about that. I can only hope, like I said, that Carol visits Earth sometimes. I know when we find her in Endgame she's off doing her stuff, but she can so come back, right? And just spend time with her best friend while she is not doing so well. Potentially more than a best friend, who knows. I'm wondering, I guess in the next Captain Marvel movie will be set nowadays. Perhaps Monicaaaa will even be in it, I don't know. So then I loved seeing Sword. I know that like Sword is just going to be a thing in the MCU now, potentially in the movie. I find it fascinating to me that if they're saying that this sword has always been around, why was it not mentioned in any of the movies? Like, I'm sorry, if you can suddenly rewrite that, oh yes, Sword's been a thing the whole time, then you can bloody rewrite that S.H.I.E.L.D. is now in contact with them, our S.H.I.E.L.D., okay? Because like in Endgame, in Infinity War, at no point were they like, let's call in the Sword agents. And yeah, so maybe Sword is properly a secret organisation, but I still feel like there was no mention of them. If there was no mention of them, you can bring in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too, okay? If you're now going to say that Sword is not a new thing, I mean, I know in the comics it's a long-standing thing, but if you're not going to say that it's a brand new thing that's been done now, then you can write Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in MCU, and if you don't, I'm still going to be angry. I'm going to be angry all the time. But no, seeing the concept of Sword, knowing that that's going to be a thing, again, was great. And seeing that Monicaaaa kind of, she grew up to be a pilot like her mum. She grew up to be Captain Trouble. She grew up to be part of Sword. And the fact that the legacy, the concept of people, if they come back from the blip, have to be grounded for a while. It makes logical sense. You just need to make sure there are no side effects, that they're not going to blip again and end up in space. You know, all sorts of things could happen. So a short-term grounding makes total sense. But the fact that it shows that she didn't give up on her kills me and revives me and its emotions. So then seeing her meeting up with John Woo, who was the missing person, the witness protection person? Was Wanda in witness protection? Was that, I mean, I don't know why she would be. Was it someone like Dottie or one of the characters we've met, their real life person? We didn't learn who the witness protection person was. So I am intrigued about that, to kind of find out who the FBI were interested in. But getting to know the whole thing, that somehow Wanda is doing this. Now, seeing kind of Darcy, I loved. I remembered that they'd said she was going to be in it, but I'd also forgotten, if that makes sense. Seeing kind of they've got every single person they can possibly think of, every agency is there, because this is huge. If this spreads, it could be devastating. And I love the fact that they were properly being broadcast out as a TV show. Now, I still, it's one of those things where I don't think they're suddenly going to say, and Wanda is evil, the end. You know, like, that would be a waste of one of the best characters in the MCU, for one thing. But I could definitely see, there are still, I think, different angles. Now, Wanda is certainly in control. We've seen that many times. We've seen that where she didn't like the beekeeper thing, so she rewound it. We've seen that where Vision was asking her too many questions, she redid it. You know, we've seen that a fair few times, and obviously most especially her reaction to the mentioning of Ultron and to Geraldine was just absolute, like, you were trespassing, no, this is not your place, go. And like, who are you, how do you know that, etc. And when she started speaking to Geraldine in that moment, she had her Wanda voice, which is her American accent with some vague traces of Sokovian, or whatever. I remember reading an article with Elizabeth Olsen where she said that when she like, the reason that Wanda magically loses a Sokovian accent is that she doesn't totally lose it, but the American accent is kind of tinted with that, but she just kind of transitioned to it, I don't know. But basically, yeah, that accent that is identifiable as the Wanda accent came back when she was talking with Geraldine at the end. Obviously Monicaaaa, but you know, in the, yeah. I am glad that Monicaaaa seemed to come back to herself. It wasn't like she still thinks she's Geraldine. I wonder if there's going to be any elements of that in the next episode. So with Wanda, I still think, obviously we know Wanda has control. So the most likely theory right now is that for some reason Wanda went into this town and was like, I want Vision back, I want to be happy. Poof. Now, if it is purely Wanda doing it and she's bringing Vision back, why couldn't she have her twin brother living next door? Like, I feel like if that was me and I was Wanda and had lived through unimaginable trauma, my parents would be around, and my brother that was dead, and the man I loved. You know, it would be more than just one person that I'd be fixing. Now, whether that is just for casting reasons or for plot reasons, I will not, like, say that's a plot hole if they say it is purely just Wanda's decision. It could be that Wanda has sort of like a mental breakdown, or I don't know, kind of like snapped in a way, or had a nightmare, or some kind of way in which her powers responded to emotional needs that she had, to the pain she was feeling, and have done this somewhat out of her control, and now she's kind of controlling it. It could be that this is still being done to her but like I said, she quite likes it. You know, it's a bit like something I know I referenced in the last episode where, again, spoilers for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. if you haven't seen it, in the season with the framework, it's that moment when Ada says to Daisy, I'll bring Lincoln Campbell back and then you could just be in the framework. And obviously Daisy was like, knew it wouldn't be real, etc. But that was a genuine moment of temptation, and I've always said it would be so interesting to see what would happen if Lincoln had just been there the whole time. It would have been much harder for her to leave. Similarly, the same way it was hard for Mac. That daughter did not live. You know, his child died when she was a baby. I think it was when she was a baby, or miscarriage, I can't quite remember now. But he didn't get to have a daughter, but he grieved that child because she was real. In the same way that he didn't want to leave the framework until the very last second. I could see it being that Wanda is just here in this place, having a great time, living a dream. She's got her husband, she's now got twin babies, which helps to kind of heal the Pietri wound, and she's got a man she loves, everything's great and wonderful and cheerful, and there's a laugh track and it's all jolly and fun. Her fighting against any attempt to break that, even though she's not the one causing it. That is still something that is possible, even though the most likely outcome is that it is just Wanda. And I find it so horrible because I think Vision definitely is dead. You know, I never really got my hopes up that he was alive, but a little part of me was hoping he might be alive. I think he's such an interesting character, and like I said, their relationship, because Wanda and Vision have only ever appeared in the bigger movies, they haven't really had the time to properly explore their relationship in the way we could, but I think it's one that they built up very subtly over the course of the movies, and I would have liked to see further. And also just so Wanda has less trauma, it would be nice if he could be alive. But I think the fact that while the illusion was still kind of shattered for her, while she wasn't able to lose herself in what was going on, she saw him as she last saw him, pale and dead with a hole where the Infinity Stone used to be, which does suggest that he is not really there. Is his body here somehow? Or was he the missing person in witness protection, that he is actually somehow alive and he was hiding? Why he'd be hiding, I don't know. The FBI didn't know that. Obviously he wrote on the board, is Vision alive? So I guess there's a small chance he is, but I highly doubt it at this point, which is kind of sad because Wanda's gonna have to lose them all over again, whether she's doing this or not. Now, what I will be really mad at is if they end this season and they're like, Wanda is evil now. Now, I can see Wanda being like the bad guy in this situation, like if she's controlling this, stopping it, keeping all these people trapped, but I would say it would be out of pain rather than out of like evil intent. I'm just so fascinated by what's going to happen. So if Wanda did this intentionally and enslave people because they have lost themselves here intentionally, I'll be mad at them. Whereas if it's just something that kind of happened and she sort of understands what's going on, but she's a bit lost in it and her mental state's all over the place, that's fine. I still do believe, like I've said many times, that there's a chance it's being done to her. Now, Vision within the show, who is real, whether that's going to continue, like whether he'll get to live again somehow as a result of this, I doubt. I think if Wanda did anything intentionally, it would have been an attempt to bring Vision back to life, and it went wrong somehow. That's all I can think of. Her attempt to use her powers to revive Vision, and it created this, and she's made everyone forget that Westview existed, and etc, etc. So Vision seems like he is aware that something is wrong. We saw in the last episode he saw his neighbour drilling through the wall, because why not? It's like he couldn't differentiate between the hedge and the wall, etc. We saw that he knew something was weird with how Wanda was acting, and with the fact that Geraldine just magically poofed and was gone. He is not as lost. Even his smile at the end looked forced. So I'm very intrigued if we're going to see in future episodes. I imagine maybe we're going to split our time between them and the people on the outside. Maybe episodes are going to get longer because they've only been half an hour. Maybe they could go to like an hour and we'll get equal time. I don't know. Or just keep them at half an hour is fine too. But I wonder if Vision is going to be really aware of it. Maybe their efforts when they do things like Wanda, who's doing this to you, maybe it's Vision they need to start appealing to. But I'm still really intrigued about what's going on, how far Wanda is involved. Like, obviously she's in control of it, but could she stop it? Did she cause it? There are still questions in my opinion. I loved seeing Monicaaaa grown up. I love seeing Darcy and even Agent Woo. I'm still really bitter that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the one part of the MCU. It thrived, okay? It got 7 seasons. And yet they're like, I'm sorry, I don't think I've quite heard of that. No. Oh yeah, no, Sword's been around this whole time, yes. But then again, like I keep saying, Sword was never mentioned in the movies, okay? In all across the Avengers movies, when the world was ending, at no point were they like, oh, Sword's over there fighting against that Thanos ship. There was nothing there. Sword did nothing. While the world was ending, Sword just sat there like, oh, it's a pretty day. You know, like, I get that Monicaaaa was like, with her mother, having personal leave, totally valid. The world was ending, where was Sword? So if that's something that they can just say, that, oh no, Sword existed this whole time, we just didn't mention them in the movies, they can bring Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in, and I'm gonna repeat this until I die. But I did love this episode. A reminder that you can find my unedited reaction on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.